So, for this topic, I decided to choose that we should keep print when it comes to transitioning to a digital news source. The reasons why is because if we can reduce the newspaper to smaller, weekly specific news within the local area, then it will still keep the audience that still reads newspapers in tune and part of the changing news source. And it isn't such a big gradual change. So when it comes to these topics, most of the topics will be catered around sports, home improvement, and certain events and etc. So like sports, if there's a big game going on within the town, you know, people can read about the scores that happened the day before, and they can all get that from that local newspaper or section that comes out weekly. Just give a brief summary of everything that's going on within the local area, just to keep print going, and no one is fully losing their jobs. Whoever started out doing print when it comes to the news sources. And so, also another thing we can do when it comes to making sure that print is still available but the focus is still on digital, we can also give a digital presence to expand the weekly newspaper itself, while the weekly newspaper kind of gives you the brief summary of everything that's going on within the town. Digital people can also have the option to go digital and expand more on like anything else that's happening within the town based on those weekly newspapers. That way they can also see there's options to look at news worldwide, or if they just want to stay in the box of just reading what's going on in town and just expand from that. That way it's not really exclusive for people who choose to stick with traditional newspaper. The other reason I rather keep print is because people who most of their job is based on making print newspapers, it would be a hard transition for those people because, first of all, they would be getting their jobs cut, and no one really wants that. And we also do want to reduce the printing rate. So in order to keep that at a level where it's not such a hard transition, so people aren't losing their jobs and people aren't being put into the blue if they're used to reading newspaper, well, that's the reason why it's gonna be cut down in like primary sections of just what's going on in the local town. So it'll still be a main focus within digital, but we don't want anyone like getting their jobs fully cut. I mean, it still might be inevitable that people will get their jobs cut, but we don't want it to be a big thing where it's messing up people's lives, especially just with how people get their content, depending if like there's a different age demographic that actually just solely wants to read newspapers. Like, we should give them that right to like only want to use newspapers, and still have that option available for them. So, and like I said, we would keep, in order to make the newspaper relevant, but we'll we'll make it a weekly content. That way it's not completely forgotten about once we start transitioning to digital, but the printing will still be reduced because it's only at a specific time of the week. So probably like on the weekends they'll come out with the newspaper on a summary with anything that's going on within the local area. Overall, that's what I feel like should happen when it comes to this topic. Still keep print, focus on digital, but make sure there's a gradual shift in that transition, and make sure that no one's excluded out, and that way people can get their news in the way they prefer. All right.